Okay. I'm calling court back into session for what is me a different day of the year, the 17th of the 9th, 2025. Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing okay. In the case of the People versus Aubrey Webster and Michael Manx, I am back with a verdict. After much deliberation and due consideration of the evidence, the arguments made today in the courtroom, and also the testimony given here today by all the witnesses who I appreciate being here, this is my verdict. Okay, so all suspects are innocent until proven guilty. That guilt must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. That does not mean that the evidence and testimony must be perfect, that it must exceed a shadow of a doubt, just that no reasonable doubt is left. This case hinges upon a mountain of circumstantial evidence. The police did an amazing job here. The report is detailed and expertly broken down. I have no complaints with the evidence and the statements given.
Okay, we're getting. We won. We won. The way to explain this, we won.
But it must be noted, and I think it has been highlighted by the defense, that some of the circumstantial evidence provided fails to corroborate itself. Differences in the way Sergeant Carter and Sergeant Gray's duty weapons were returning with different fingerprint evidence, despite the narrative being presented that they were taken by similar individuals and put on the ground by other individuals, forensically raises a question. The DNA evidence on the found parachutes raises a question. If it had come back to Aubrey Webster or Michael Manx, it would clearly strengthen the prosecution's case. I don't think, however, that it not coming back to either of those individuals proves their innocence, that they didn't do it. But it does raise levels of doubt. It raises questions. Differing statements from officers indicate different thoughts as to who they believe the primary suspects were on the day in question. Casings found in the vicinity of other named individuals all detract from the main arguments presented, laying forward the claim that Aubrey Webster and Michael Manx are the primary terrorist actors. I am not a DNA expert. I have no context in which to assign labels to the freshness of the DNA. Contextually, old DNA could be 10 minutes old or 4 months old, and I don't know that. And I don't know how to attribute weight to that beyond it not being fresh. This adds some doubt, however. If the identification of Mr. Webster and Mr. Manx purely comes down to DNA and then circumstantial evidence on top of that, then that identification has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. Too many questions here are raised for that. A gun with Webster's DNA is found in the IAA building, but how long was it there? How did it get there? Especially given testimonies to how the scene was left for an indeterminate amount of time. It leaves me with more questions. The Sergeant Carter belongings coming back to Manx would appear to be an obvious connection. Yet the fact that Sergeant Gray's items failed to provide the same ID provides doubt as to the veracity of that evidence. Why didn't they both come back to the same person? I'm left with questions. I don't know. Too many questions remain for this court to be confident with the identification purely from DNA. So then we need to look at the circumstantial situation, which, leads us to the reports of vehicles being stolen. The reports, the evidence coming back to who those vehicles belong to when found on individual scenes. We have vehicles, cars, and then boats, and also aeroplanes coming back to a specific group of individuals, right? And that can't be ignored, and it shouldn't be ignored. It is telling of an
we might still be cooked. I don't
know. Specifically here, we are left with when assessing, do I believe that Mr. Manx and Mr. Webster were involved? Yes, I do.
Fuck.
I'm not a fool. I can read between the lines. Fuck. Do I believe that Mr. Manx and Mr. Webster were complicit and accessories to this? I can see that argument. Do I believe that today that was proven beyond a reasonable doubt? I'm left with too many questions, even with the smaller charges. The circumstantial evidence, while thick and weighty, sometimes turns left and provides an alternative narrative. Could this have been Miguel Almerian? No. Yes, it could have been.
Yeah.
Could it have been Miguel Almerian and Webster and Manx? Yeah, It could have
was
been
Miguel and Ming all the way.
Could it have involved Misha Standel and Dax Marshall, who were mentioned in
Oh shit.
somebody's testimony? I think it was Ruby's, where they were found below. They were found below gun casings at the Crystal Casino. Yes, of course, it could have been. But I'm left answering only for Webster and Manx today, and too many alternatives are left open with evidence pointing in those directions. I'm finding Aubrey Webster and Michael Manx not guilty on all charges. Committed these acts.
Congratulations, boys.
Yo!
Thank you.